Today's video is going to be a little out of order. We have to take you back in time, back to June, when we started recycling our scrap metal pile that we had building up here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we decided to have a change of pace. Instead of working on the house, we were doing some cleanup. So we're really starting to tackle this metal pile. We had this huge pile of metal behind here, appliances and everything all over the yard. We had to clean this up, so we're bringing a load of scrap steel up first. We're going to save the aluminum for later. And we're going to see how much money we can get for this load that we've been saving since we started working on this house a year ago.
Well, we're at the scrap yard. Yeah.
So we just dropped off our load of metal. There was a lot.
Huge, heavy load that I thought we were gonna get, you know, something for.
And it was funny. I wish I was recording this because Ashley's face was hilarious.
He's like, guess how much they gave us? And I'm like, 230. And then he showed me the check, and it's
right there, $33
for that huge, heavy load of steel.
So basically, driving an hour out of her day, probably an hour loading, unloading, and all that work for $33. But at least the mess is out of the yard.
I hope we get more for the copper and aluminum at least.
Yeah. So here's the breakdown. Steel tin is what they classified it as, just scrap. If we sorted it out further, might have been able to get some different prices. We had some cast iron that we could have separated, stuff like that, but not a big deal. 1,320 pounds is what we had. Pretty good. Lot. Yeah. More than the weight limit that this element should be pulling.
And the price per ton that they give you is $50. So we didn't have quite a ton.
So we got 33.
Yep. So about a week after we took the steel up, we also took a big load of aluminum up, which was mostly our siding that we took off the house and the soffits and just random other pieces of aluminum.
Now the aluminum run was just like the steel run. We just got weighed, dropped it off, and got our check. We ended up getting $108 for the aluminum. We had 360 pounds at 30 cents per pound. So that was pretty good, 360 pounds. Aluminum's a light metal, so that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then after the aluminum was done, we took a long break, worked on other things, until finally,
months later,
when we were done stripping the copper out of the barn, we said it's finally time to bring our copper to the scrapyard. It's hard to believe that we're still getting rid of scrap metal. It has been months since we started this video to share with you whether or not it was going to be worth scrapping in 2020. 2020 is almost done. We're in October, but we got our last load. It's just taken longer than expected to get it together. And this is all copper. We got wire, mostly coated wire, and some mixed dirty copper plumbing pipes. I know if I strip that copper down and get all the plastic and junk and brass and stainless and all the stuff that's on there that's not supposed to be, if I take that all off, I could probably get a little bit more for it. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be worth my time because prices have been pretty lousy this year. But I'm going to bring all this copper up, see what we can get for it. So we made it to the scrapyard. It's a muddy mess. We're waiting in line to get rid of the copper, and it should go pretty easy. Generally, scrapyards are pretty simple. Drop it off, they weigh it, and you leave. We were intimidated when we first started doing scrapping. I was, because we didn't know what to expect when you get to the scrapyard, and it's kind of chaotic. And once even if you make mistakes, they're usually pretty good about it because not everybody knows where to go or what to do. So we're back from the scrapyard, and I made a big mistake, and it cost us quite a bit of money. Well, first let's go over what we got for the copper. So for all the copper, we got $142. So we got $142.20 for the load of copper. There wasn't a ton of copper there, but I did expect more for it, especially with all that wire, because copper is usually doing pretty good. But here's the thing, for all the plumbing pipes, I only got 75 cents per pound, and for all the wire, I only got 75 cents per pound. That is super, super terrible pricing. I'll try to show you guys the breakdown. I don't know if you guys can see that okay, but it's pretty low pricing, and we could have got a lot more. This is what I asked the guy. I said 75 cents seems low, and in fact they were going to give me 25 cents until I questioned it, and that's a whole nother story. 75 cents per pound, I said, you know, copper usually goes for more than that. I've seen it up $3-4 a pound in the past. And what he told me was, if I had cut those brass fittings off the plumbing pipes, I had the shower spout, I had some valves on there, just some odd fittings on there. If I had cut off the fittings, I could have got $2 per pound. If I cut off all the copper fittings, all the solder, and just had clean copper, it could have got up to $2.30 per pound. Still, it's a low price for copper, but it's way better than I got. So my mistake by kind of being lazy and saying, I'll just throw them on the way they are with the fittings, with the brass, devalued that copper so much. So I went from, if I just cut the brass off, getting $2 a pound, to bringing it the way it was, I got 75 cents a pound, so $1.25 less. So, and that was 51 pounds of copper pipe. So 50 pounds times another $1.25, that's another $50, $60, whatever it comes out to be. That's a lot of money to lose. That's a learning experience for me, and I felt kind of dumb in the moment, but that's how you learn. So I guess if you're going to scrap, don't make the mistake that I made and just bring it the way it is. Process it. Sort the copper, the clean copper, the dirty copper. Sort the wires. Even if you're doing aluminum, there's clean and dirty. There's clean steel, there's dirty steel. There's clean copper, there's dirty copper. And if you can sort it out, if you can get the brass out of the copper, man, that price goes up so fast, and we probably could have made a lot more money if we had been smarter. I didn't realize the price difference would be that great, and it would have only taken a couple minutes of my time. So the first trip up, we made $33 on our huge load of steel. 1,300 pounds of steel, 33 bucks. On our second trip up, we made $108 on 360 pounds of aluminum. And on our third trip up, the final trip, made $142 on copper. I showed you the breakdown. Is 135 pounds plus 51 pounds plus 6 pounds. For us, we're just happy to get the property cleaned up, the barn cleaned out. It is what it is. That's why we're sharing this with you guys. That's why we're taking along, so that we can grow together. I would say 2021 is going to be, you know, we started this video thinking we're going to share what it's like to scrap in 2020, and here we are, like 2020 is over. So I do look forward to 2021. I think it's going to be a much better year. I think the economy is going to grow. I think we're going to do a lot better. And when that happens, when manufacturing goes up, the prices of metal is going to go up, and scrapping is going to be valuable again. Right now, we're just in a low kind of time, and there's not a great demand for metal. A lot of manufacturing is shut down, and that's why you're seeing the low prices. So that's it. Metal is done. The property is looking clean. I'm happy. We got money. Put it in the bank. Now we can move on and do better things. Well guys, I guess we're gonna wrap it up now. I appreciate you coming along, scrapping with us. So thanks again, and until next time, take care.
Bye. Bye.